Hey guys, welcome back to We Watched Movie. I am Mike, and this is a spoiler review for Companion. I was going to film a regular review for this, put it up on Friday. All the Stu stuff happened, the Scream, so we were covering all that. And I got to thinking, I was like, this is a movie. If you haven't seen it, it's definitely best to go in knowing absolutely nothing. Don't watch specifically the second trailer. Don't watch reviews or anything, because the way the marketing started for this thing, they let it up and there were so many questions. She's just sitting at a table burning her arm and you're like, what the heck is going on? The second trailer, they really explained it. Our fault for doing a deep dive trailer this breakdown for the entire thing, because we pretty much guessed the entire movie in that trailer breakdown. Not just and again, spoilers starting now, not just the fact that she was a sex bot. They told us that right up front pretty much in the second trailer, but we guessed that Lucas Gage's character was also a bot, that he was the one killing that officer in the one scene. We pretty much guessed the entire plot of the movie when you go back and look at it. The fact that Sergey was the thing that pushed the entire plot forward by trying to rape her because, hey, she's a sex bot, nobody will care, and then her snapping, killing him, and pretty much the whole thing from there. And basically my biggest issue with the movie, for sure, and you can't blame the movie for the movie's marketing, but you can't help but experience it differently knowing things going in, right? So that's kind of what it comes down to with this movie. I actually thought, shockingly, that Companion was pretty predictable once you knew the initial plot outline. I expected a little bit more surprise and a little bit more vibrancy in what they were trying to say and do with the film, whereas once you kind of knew that framework, it was like, I bet this happens next. Oh, I bet she had a camera and are recording this whole thing. Boom, there goes that twist. Kind of the whole thing falls down a pretty predictable path in my eyes. And I'm not very good at guessing what's going to happen in movies. I'm not one of those people. I'm dumber than a box of fucking rocks, but you just got the idea. So that part being taken away, trying to go back and imagine this as someone who didn't know all this going in, it probably would have been a better experience. But that being said, there's a lot of stuff I really loved about the movie, starting with the cast. Whoever cast this movie needs some fucking recognition, all right? First off, Sophie Thatcher is amazing. She's going to be a goddamn star. She's been amazing in everything I've seen her in. She is going to be huge, mark my words. She's going to be fucking huge, and she was great in this movie as well. She managed to do a great job playing not only the robotic AI type of character, but also believable and everything else she was trying to do. Jack Quaid's perfect for this kind of role. Just I could be a good guy, but I could be a douche. I love the guy who played Sergey, who, by the way, was Agent 47. He was Hitman in a Hitman movie, which is crazy to think about. Much like Lee Pace in Bodies, 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 the movie could have used more Sergey for sure. I thought he was the most fascinating characters in the movie. Not a good person. I'm not saying I like the character. Obviously, he's a piece of shit. But he was funny on screen with his mullet and his mustache and his whole, like, let's just say Sergey have dirty fingers. Like that whole idea. I thought he was fascinating. Not in the movie enough, for sure. The rest of the cast was really good too. I love Lucas Gage. I'm starting to see him in a lot of stuff. He was in Smile 2, White Lotus, all sorts of things. I really like the cast in this movie. The movie feels a lot like a movie like Bodies, 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 and then it has like that kind of Gen Z sort of feeling to it. However, it's much better than that in my opinion, because these characters are actually likable. I'm not saying the characters are all good, but like the actors and the way they're presented to you, it's not so annoying as some of that stuff that went on in Bodies, Bodies, Bodies was, if that makes sense, for sure. I really like the way they cast the movie, but it's also, I think it's being unrecognized as one of those everything that can go wrong will go wrong type of thrillers, like a movie like Very Bad Things or Burn After Reading or something like that. It's got Fargo, sort of like what can go wrong will go wrong sort of film. It's got that vibe to it, as well as with the AI storyline. Obviously things like Her and Ex Machina, just less serious. There's an Invisible Man type of theme there too. So this movie is just a hodgepodge of a bunch of different genres and moods and feelings, and I think it comes across original because of that in its own strange way, but also kind of wish-washy. And what I mean by that is there's an interview with the director where he's talking about this, and he's like, well, originally it was going to be a serious movie, like a Black Mirror sort of thing, but then I didn't get the response I wanted to for my script, so I kind of added comedy in there because that's what I'm natural at. And then originally Jack Quaid was going to be a good guy, but then I started siding with Iris more, so I decided to make her the good guy. And like all these things throughout the movie, I was kind of, there's a lot of like, what the fuck are we doing? Like I can't, I'm entertained, this is all well written, it's well filmed, it's well acted, but like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, I kind of can't get where you're going with the movie. And on one hand, you want to feel that way, but I don't feel like it ever really truly grasped what it was trying to do. It was just like, hey, here's an entertaining hour and a half, and that's fine. But I just don't think it's going to be very rewatchable. Like, I don't think there's anything really to connect to in the movie other than, oh, this is pretty irreverent and sort of fun. So I think that took away from it a little bit. And I thought it was pretty predictable once you got past the sex bot stuff. I don't think they explored enough of what was in the past with Jack Quaid getting the sex bot there, the sex doll, fuck doll, whatever, getting it there and having those dudes show up like they're Best Buy delivering a goddamn, air fryer, and just like, hey, sign here. Oh, by the way, here's these random facts about all this super serious shit. And like, what, you can just mod it by getting a fucking USB off the internet. These things I liked about the movie, by the way. I'm not even complaining about this, but it feels like there was more from that world to scope out for sure that they could if they wanted to. She's awkward, like perfectly done for what she was supposed to do, but I think the movie sides a little bit too much with the sex doll. I know that's a weird sentence to say out loud on a goddamn Monday morning, but like sometimes I'm like, yeah, she is actually kind of annoying. I don't like how emotionally accurate that thing is. She's almost needy. There's something about that creeps me out worse than anything else. Like, obviously he was an asshole. Everybody got what was coming to them kind of storyline. And I really do love when it all unraveled, like when the cop shows up and her settings are all fucked up, so she's speaking German. That shit was fun for sure. Watching all that kind of tumble down a hill was a good time. The fine-tuning of the writing got a little fucky-ducky there at the end when she's somehow able to convince Lucas Gage's character that they reset him and that he was still in love with his owner. The way that she was able to get him to remember a little fucky-ducky with the writing there. It was like, oh, we just changed the rules. Now you can do this. The only thing that really saved that moment when she was like, remember, I can't lie. So then he knows she's telling the truth. And then at the end, you have her driving off and we're doing this whole, like, it's about, independence from a partner, which I get. Like, that's all there. I'm just saying I didn't believe it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they were really trying hard to grasp at what this movie is. And I think you felt that kind of indifference, which makes me a little bit scared for the Faculty reboot, I'll be honest with you, because the guy who directed and wrote this is writing that. And I think the worst thing that you can have when it comes to a franchise is indecisiveness, because then you end up with Halloween Ends and David Gordon Green. So, but that's just recency bias for what we've all been through lately with that franchise. All in all, it was a really good directed movie, well-written movie. Those are just things I couldn't help but notice in it. Still enjoyed it, just don't find any reason to really go back and like revisit it again. I think it could have been great, but it was good. So I'll give it a 7 out of 10. That's my review of Companion. And Hard Eyes coming up this week. Final Destination trailer coming out this week. We're live on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at noon with all the current movie news, talking about it as it happens. And we'll have all your reviews and all that good shit here. So make sure you're subscribed, click the bell and all that good shit. I love your all's fucking faces.